Pizza is known to have originated from Italy and then became very popular in many countries around the world. To meet consumer needs, industrial pizzas were born to meet the convenience of busy people who still want a quick and nutritious cake to eat. At the same time, we could also make our own pizza at home easily. But to produce an industrial pizza, do you know its production process? The main ingredient used to create the structure of a pizza base is flour. There are many different types of flour on the market. However, to choose the right type to make pizza is flour with high gluten content, ranging from 13 to 15%. In addition, there are additional ingredients added such as water, salt, sugar, eggs, yeast, and food additives to prolong the product's preservation time. First, workers will have to prepare the dough in advance. After the powder is received into the factory, it will go through a flour sifting step to remove impurities. However, some factories will skip this step because if they use high-quality powder, there will often be a few impurities. In parallel, it is necessary to prepare salt and sugar in the form of a solution. The yeast needs to be activated 20 to 30 times before kneading the dough. By dissolving it in water with a temperature of about 28 to 30 degrees Celsius, the flour will be poured into the mixer. Then salt and sugar will be added in solution form, and other auxiliary ingredients such as eggs and water will be added. Next, add the activated yeast and knead the mixture. After forming a uniform dough mass, the dough fermentation process will also take place afterward, and the suitable temperature for fermentation is from 28 to 30 degrees Celsius. Next, the dough is discharged from the mortar into the container, then moved through the conveyor belt and then to the rolling system to roll the dough into thin dough sheets. The dough sheet will pass across a horizontal cutting shaft with protruding edges to cut the dough layer to create a round cake base. Before the baking stage, the baking temperature is between 110 to 130 degrees Celsius, and the cake must be moist to avoid a situation where the skin is burned but the inside is not cooked. Then, the baking temperature is raised to 210 to 250 degrees Celsius for about 2 to 5 minutes. From there, a finished cake base can be created that can be frozen, bringing convenience to customers. For available types of pizza, there will be a separate division method. The machine's fresh cake base is divided into a certain amount of tomato sauce. For a rich flavor, the pizza will be covered with grated cheese on the surface of the sauce. Not only that, the surface is also covered with a layer of chopped sausage to perfect the flavor of the dish. All ingredients are in harmony to bring the most delicious flavor to users. Pizza comes in many different sizes. but almost all are divided into the same ingredients. Frequently eating pizza. Do we often wonder why pizza has such a large consumption? Here's the answer for you. It's all because we humans are attracted to foods that are high in fat, sweet, rich, and flavorful. Pizza has all those characteristics, like a candidate who meets the conditions required by an employer or organizing committee. Cheese is high in fat, sauces are often sweet and salty, and toppings, whether meat or not, are often very rich. Even the pizza base and tomato sauce can be added with aromatic leaves, making the flavor of the cake even more delicious, fatty, and stimulating the taste buds. Finished pizza will be packaged in boxes with full labels, product name, production date, expiration date. This makes increased product brand recognition in general and helps consumers easily grasp the products they are looking for. Dear friends, we have just finished exploring the production of pizza, a familiar and attractive dish. Thank you for taking the time to watch the entire video and supporting BGI Factory during the past. Tell us more by leaving a comment below this video. Don't forget to press the subscribe to channel button to update and watch our latest videos.
First, they cut the onion tops with a machine. Then they use a harvester to pull the onions out of the ground. The worker's job is to pull onions from the ground and remove the excess plant. After harvesting the onions from the ground, they began to collect the onions. As a tractor, along with a truck, came to collect the onions from the field. As a machine attached to a tractor collects only the onions from the field, and then throws the excess plant back into the field. After collecting onions, the tractor will directly load the onions onto the truck via the conveyor belt. Tractor and truck run parallel to each other to easily harvest in the best possible way. After harvesting all onions, they transport them to the factory. And after arriving at the factory, onions are moved by conveyor belt and they are closely inspected by workers to avoid disruptions. After unloading the onions onto the conveyor belt will take it to a vibrator. There are many pallet sizes for onions, and the workers are in charge of ordering the required pallet size to perform two different jobs. As first, It separates the dirt and stones from the onions. Then it sorts the onions according to size. The machine continues to shake until all the onions are arranged according to the correct size. Big and small. It looks like this. Some companies also use some advanced technology to filter the onions into different sizes. They send the onions through separate routes and have lasers that can scan the onions and then send the information to the computer. As a worker always monitors information, then the computer will control the conveyor belt to sort the onions by size. As here is an example of the next process, so you can easily imagine. As they put each onion into the cutter and peel it, the machine will bring the sharp end of the onion up to the root down to prepare for cutting. As they rotate the cutters at the top and bottom to cut them precisely. After cutting the top of roots and the onions, the machine rotates the onion and uses air pressure to blow away the skin. Onions will look like this after being completely cut and peeled. After cutting and peeling, they need to wash the onions. After washing, they transfer the onions to a long conveyor belt to the workers, where the workers cut off the excess skin and then select the delicious onions. This is the most important part, helping the onions meet standards and ensuring quality. After selecting the onions, they make them into batches and weigh them. Then they put the batch of the onion into a blender. As onions also contain an important flavonoid compound called quercetin. This compound has been shown in studies to have anti-cancer properties. As a few recent studies have also concluded that quercetin slows down the growth of tumors in pancreatic cancer. As an addition, quercetin also plays a role in lowering blood pressure in patients with cardiovascular disease such as stroke, coronary artery disease, heart failure, and peripheral arteries. Grind onions into smaller pieces, and after grinding, they wash it again to remove dirt from the onion pieces. As now these onion slices are transferred to another weighing machine through a long conveyor belt to weigh a specific amount and start packaging. As in fact, the nutritional composition of onions contain the mineral chromium, which has helped to regulate blood sugar and enhance the activity of the hormone insulin. And furthermore, this mineral also directly participates in the metabolism of carbohydrates, fats, and proteins in the body. This factor is quite special and it plays an important role for the patient with type 2 diabetes or patients with insulin resistance. As the peeled onion skin go through another conveyor belt to a container for disposal. And before starting the packaging part, we want to show you the amazing production machines, which may surprise you, as I think you might enjoy this process. As in this process, the conveyor belts that bring each onion to a mechanical hand that picks it up and then puts it into the machine. As at that time, the tops and tails of onions were cut, where the robot hand took turns feeding the onions into the machine. As they blew air onto the onion, as the air pressure will remove the onion skin. As in this process, a worker unloads onions from a plastic bag into a machine. Then the workers place the onions directly into the slicer. This machine places the onion on a horizontal blade and then cuts off the onion's head and roots. as two sharp blades will cut the onion skin one after another. After cutting off the head and roots of the onion, they put the onions in a rotary peeler that is rotated by chain. After putting them in the roller, the machine rotates the onions very quickly, causing the onion skin to fall off, as the onion has been peeled cleanly and the processing process has begun. This is another way to process it in the factory. The conveyor belt transports the onions to the cutting machine, and the workers position the onions for the perfect cutting, as the cutter will cut off the head and the roots of the onion and then throw them onto the conveyor belt. There, the workers will use iron knives to cut off the onion skin. After cutting the onion into smaller pieces to get a bag of onions that ensures quality and that looks attractive, you must go through the process of measuring the onions, as they measure according to standards and put a certain amount on the conveyor belt and send them to the packaging area. As the finishing stage is the stage of deciding on the design of the product, so that the product can be consumed and used, including labeling and distributing the product. Onions are rich in a source of vitamin C. This vitamin is considered a familiar antioxidant that plays an important role in the body's immune system. Furthermore, vitamin C is also playing an equally important role in improving the iron absorption for the body. This is the process by which onions are harvested, cut, peeled, and ground in the factory. It cannot be denied that technology has greatly helped the human efforts. Thank you all so much for watching and taking the time to watch this video. We hope you like it, so see you in the next part.